there are many similarities in leaders and managers. Like they both represent the company, they are figureheads, like they are both focused on goals and objectives. But there are also differences in being a leader and being a manager, right? So, but that's not our topic for this afternoon. But leaders are more of leading people. So we lead people.
Right.
We lead our staff, our people. While managers, they manage work, they manage processes, and they manage resources. Now, sometimes you say, but we have people are also human resources. But you see, it's the perspective that differs. Like, for instance, managers are more focused on sales and profits and getting results delivered, while leaders are more of focused on new products, expansion, growth, and building a team and innovation. So there are differences. So leadership, let's just say that just to simplify, leadership is about leading people. So it's more of taking care of people. And these people are the ones who deliver the results, of
Of
course.
course.
Of
Yes.
course. Okay, so managers or managers are more of delivering the results through, not just through people, but also through capital, through processes, through technology, and other methods and other resources. But as I said, they must go together.
Right.
But we are
Right.
just, human beings. Sometimes we cannot have both. We cannot be an excellent leader and at the same time an excellent manager. So we have a propensity. Maybe we tend to be more of a leader or we tend to be more of a manager.
Right.
So sometimes they say great companies really have a great combination of a great leader and a great manager.
Welcome and good day. Today we have a special treat for you. It is season 14 of the Leader's Edge, episode 2. Today we have Mr. Conrad Favorito, or Fave. As you'll soon find out, he is an experienced man, probably even more than me, although I'm sure he looks younger. And he'll be talking about something very, very important. These are the values that leaders must have. I will turn the floor over to Faye simply because I think he would be a much better person to introduce himself given his extensive background. Faye?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thank you. Well, to introduce myself, I've been giving training to professionals since 1982. So that's about 41 years. So that reveals my age also. I'm a senior already. And I've been in the corporate world for about 27 years. And then on my own after that. I've been a freelance consultant, management consultant with a master's in business management degree from AIM. I've taught a lot of professionals from managers, general managers, scientists, generals, owners, founders. Okay, and I've been teaching leadership for really quite a long time. And it's not just based on what I share, it's not just based on research, but it's based on actual experiences. Also, my
Excellent.
experiences with leaders, especially those that I admire. So what I'm gonna share this afternoon are what I think are the values that effective and true leaders must have. Of course, there are fake leaders and bad leaders, but these are not our examples or idols. We would like to be effective and true and genuine leaders. So that's the background of the topic for today.
Thank you. Thank you for helping us with that. You said 1982. Were you using carousels and Kodak slides? Uh,
No, yeah, yeah, yeah. We were using carousels and slides,
I
but
did. I started in 1985. So
okay, all right. So I started earlier. I finished my master's degree in 1982, and
wow.
right there and then I started teaching and training managers and
Okay.
supervisors.
All right. Now you mentioned something about the values, and given your extensive experience, are are leadership values changing, or are they relatively constant? It's just that somewhere along the way we seem to lose track of which ones are valuable, and we get lost in the bushes, if you want to say.
Well, I believe that values must be aligned with principles, and principles do not change.
Yes.
Okay, principles are universal and they apply anywhere, everywhere, anytime, all the time. Now, values as maybe a little bit changing. They change in form, but if they are aligned with principles, in that sense, they don't really change. They may get new names or new manifestations. Okay, and values are self-chosen. They are personal.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Can you
So
share some examples, maybe some good examples that we can understand?
values. Well, for instance, a principle is the dignity of life and importance of life. Okay, that every human being has a life, and that's a dignified life, and we must respect life in any form, whether the man is poor, illiterate, or whatever. But if he's a living human being, we must respect that he is a living human being. But
Right.
did you know there was once a time when the husband died, they also buried the wife.
Oh yeah,
So economic, you remember that? I
of
mean,
course. Right.
uh, long, long time ago. But that's a fact, and it's part of history because of the economic conditions. They
Right.
they assumed that if the husband died, sooner or later the wife and the family will die also because they all depend on the husband.
All dependent. Yes.
You see, even the dignity of women. There was a time that horses were more valuable than women in history.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so the principle there is the dignity of women or any human being, whether male or female. But there was a time that the values, you see, values of society, they valued the horses much more than women because horses were more valuable for them at the time
Right. Right.
during
Oh,
those warrior times, you know.
no, actually, there are also beasts of burden. They did a lot of other things. Of course, carry the soldier into war. That was obviously there. But even related to what you're saying, even the concept of marriage initially was more out of convenience or business.
Uh-huh.
Like, let's say I wanted to knight yours and my land, so our daughter and son would get married. It had nothing to do with love. Okay, so even that was there. Okay, but it's interesting how you point to dignity, human dignity,
Uh-huh.
and yet in many ways I still see it being abused today.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay, so let's be very straightforward about this. I mean, I like to ask in my companies, you tell me that people are your greatest asset, okay, but under which column of the profit and loss statement do salaries fall under?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so
Uh,
so
it's
even like
always
that. And so
the
how would you reconcile those two things? Especially if you're a leader. Okay. Now I'm not talking about just salary, but let's say you feel like that sometimes in your organization, people aren't being treated in a dignified manner.
yeah, that's right. So that's why we should align our values with principles, and we should live our values. So that's one thing we're gonna stress this afternoon.
Oh, okay. Talking about living our values, and I'm sure you know this, and people who have experienced it, okay, in a big way, uh, all of us in our lives, we reach points where we have to make value decisions.
Yeah,
Okay. And the way my dad explained it to me, he goes, son, he goes, you might start off with so many values, but over your lifetime, you're going to start getting rid of some of them and just keep the most valuable.
that's right. That's what
Okay.
we call the hierarchy of values.
Yeah, if you want to say, or maybe, or should I use principles? Because
The
I'm beginning to
principles,
understand
mostly
better.
principles. Yeah,
Yeah, principles. Okay. Now, in an existing corporation, this happens a lot. People confuse management and leadership,
that's right.
managing and leadership, and they have different values.
That's right.
Okay. So as a leader, I know you have your principles, but you look at management, they have their values. How would you reconcile those two?
Well, I do have a seminar, a course on leadership and management.
Right.
So there are many similarities in leaders and managers. Like they both represent the company, they are figureheads, like they are both focused on goals and objectives, but there are also differences in being a leader and being a manager, right? So but that's not our topic for this afternoon. But leaders are more of leading people. So we lead people,
Right.
we lead our staff, our people, while managers, they manage work, they manage processes, and they manage resources. Now sometimes you say, but we have people are also human resources. But you see, it's the perspective that differs. Like for instance, managers are more focused on sales and profits and getting results delivered, while leaders are more of focused on new products, expansion, growth, and building a team and innovation. So there are differences. So leadership, let's just say that, just to simplify, leadership is about leading people. So it's more of taking care of people. And these people are the ones who deliver the results, of
Of
course.
course.
Of
Yes.
course. Okay, so managers or managers are more of delivering the results through, not just through people, but also through capital, through processes, through technology, and other methods and other resources. But as I said, they must go together.
Right.
But we are
Right.
just, human beings. Sometimes we cannot have both. We cannot be an excellent leader and at the same time an excellent manager. So we have a propensity. Maybe we tend to be more of a leader, or we tend to be more of a manager.
Right.
So sometimes they say great companies really have a great combination of a great leader and a great manager. And if they go on a
Right.
partnership, that's a great company.
I like that one. Great companies have a good combination of managers and leaders,
Great
usually
leaders
the
and
same
great
person.
managers, yes.
Usually in the same person. But let's bring it back to the topic about principles and
Values.
values that leaders must have.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm in a situation where, you know, the way I understand what we just talked about was, you manage a process, but you lead people.
No,
Okay,
you manage a process, but you lead people.
yes, and you have to do them both at the same time. It's not an either or issue.
Of course.
Okay, but let's bring it back, bring that topic down to the values that a leader must have.
All right.
Uh, the biggest challenge I think many leaders face today is at the end of the day, they're not measured for their leadership. They're measured for their management because it's money that's measured,
Uh-huh.
right? Okay. And I'm sure you've had organizations where the leader was getting great results, but maybe he wasn't doing too well on the people side. But
Yes.
they still loved him. Okay, why? Because he was getting the result. Okay.
That may be true. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
But
Now,
then there are other problems which we are not mentioning. You
yes,
see,
of course,
it,
there's attrition and all kinds of other things.
yeah, because it may be someone may be a very efficient manager.
Right,
You know, if he is not a good leader, what does it mean? He's not taking good care of his people.
right,
He said leadership is really about taking good care of your people. So what happens if you don't take good care of your people? So you may be hitting the targets now, you know, but then sooner or later you get some problems. Like the good people will start leaving you.
right,
Okay, and then so you will have much more expenses in recruiting replacements and training new replacements. You know, the good people don't stay long with the company,
right, right,
and the good people or many will not be loyal to the company because they've not been taken care of properly.
right,
They have grievances against the company or against the boss.
right,
That efficient manager who is not good in leadership is called the boss.
right, right, right,
Normally, the terror boss is just after the sales and he doesn't care about anything else. It's just about the profits and he doesn't care about. So, you know, it's not an excellent company. You see, so because of course you've heard about the balance scorecard, right? And the
mhm,
balance scorecard talks about at least four elements. That's the financial side. So an efficient manager will have a good rating, excellent rating on the financial side. What about the learn and grow, the employee welfare, the employee development part? Maybe he's gonna get a failing grade there, you know.
right,
And then how about the processes? You may have the best processes, but if the people doing the processes are not motivated, mind you, those processes won't work because
right,
they may be even sabotaging those processes because they're dissatisfied.
right, right,
So you have to take care not just of your processes, not even you may have the best products, but if your people are not motivated really to sell them, or they're holding back because they're not satisfied, or they're not being led properly, they're not being taken care of properly, then so there are other problems. So there are many, actually, there are many problems when there is bad leadership in a
right,
company. So
right,
what I'm saying is good leadership actually promotes good management and good results. Because if you have motivated, highly motivated, inspired, and loyal employees who love the company, they will do the processes in the most excellent way they can. And they will serve customers happily and willingly because they are motivated and inspired, you know. You see, some are frontliners. They serve customers, right? Imagine if your employees or your staff are not properly motivated or not properly taken care of, because that's what we mean when there is bad leadership. They're not properly inspired, they're not properly motivated, they're not properly taken care of. So what happens when they face the customers? they
okay,
may, they may share horror stories with the customers instead, and you know, they won't be, as they say, happy employees, happy customers,
right,
unhappy employees, unhappy customers, because it's the employees who will satisfy and delight the customers, and it's the employees who will do the processes, who will implement and execute the processes.
right,
Imagine having demotivated and uninspired employees facing customers, and then not doing really very well in implementing the processes because they're not happy. They're not happy. So
Right, right.
okay, so I guess so there.
Okay, so let's talk about more about the values that a leader must have. Let's say in a corporate setting. Okay, maybe the umbrella term that we can use is to maintain an engaged workforce. Does that make sense? Is that a good word to use?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
What are some values that a leader must have in order to, other than, of course, maintaining the dignity of people, which we consider to be a principle? But what are some other values and principles that a leader must have to be an effective manager at the same time?
Yeah, yeah. To be an effective leader first. Of course.
Absolutely.
To
But what
be
are some values other than maintaining the dignity of people? What other values can we think of?
okay. Before I start sharing, I'll just share the values that I've compiled through the years. Uh, when I say values, they're not necessarily principles, but they should be aligned with principles. A synonym here are virtues. These are the
Okay.
virtues that leaders must have. That's what we mean. These are not goals. Huh?
Yes.
Values are not goals. Goals
Mhm.
are different. Like profitability actually is a goal. It's not a
Right.
value. Okay,
Well,
so
yeah,
so
we'll get
leaders,
back to that. Okay.
leaders, yeah, that's profitability is never really the mindset of a leader. A leader is about after innovation and growth, and then he'll say, "I leave it to my managers to make it profitable."
Right.
Okay, so that's what really the difference between a leader and a manager. Okay, then leaders. What's the simplest definition of a leader? Is someone who has followers, right?
Okay.
Because you can't be a leader if you don't have any follower. Although, of course, people talk about self leadership. All right, that's something good also. A
Mhm.
leader must be able to lead himself in the first place, right? It's called self leadership. But the simplest definition actually a leader is someone who has followers. Okay, and if you have followers, the followers must follow the leader. So what does what does the leader have to do so that the followers will follow him, and not just follow him due to intimidation or for no, the followers should follow the leader willingly, gladly. Another term for followers are fans. you know yeah, leaders, they have fans. That's why that's why they have a lot of followers, and sometimes people will try to to pinpoint, why does this person have so many followers? What's the charisma? Okay, what's the secret? What's the magic? So that's another topic. What makes a leader so famous, or someone that uh, followers love? Of course, that's the real term. Fans love their leaders. They even follow them to death. Yeah. If the Yeah, haven't you heard about those cult leaders?
Of course.
They are also
Of
called leaders,
course.
right? Cult leaders. There's one
Well,
here from Davao. You've heard about him?
of course. Uh, but the thing there, usually, let's say I'm a cultist. Let's just say this is to come up with a term. I don't know how you call them. Okay, but when I look at a person in that situation, he's confusing a personality with a value.
Mhm.
Okay, so for example, if my value is let's just say integrity, well, that's a principle. Let's say so I'll do what's right all the time. That's the value. And my cult leader, he started off like that, right? But then I believe him so much that I'll follow what he says, even if it's wrong.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
What happened along the way?
I don't know. But in my thinking, what happened along the way is the follower started confusing the value with the person. He loves the person, and he thinks that the person is the value, when in reality he's not. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, our point was just, you see, there are followers who will follow their leader to the death. You know, that's just that's a fact, and that's a fact. So if we put it in the corporate world, we would like you to be a leader that when you say something, your followers, your team will really follow you. But of course, there's the point there. You must be a good and true leader, and not like the cult leader, which we normally say is only after himself. You know,
Right,
and
right.
he is not really a good leader. That's why we will talk about the values. What will make a leader bad? So the opposite. If you don't have these values, most probably you'll become a bad or a fake leader.
Okay, all right. Excellent. Let's continue from there. So, what values are we talking about?
So, all right, values. Let me just start with. Before I start, can you give me at least three values that are on the top of your mind right now? What three top values would you say that leaders must have? It's just
Well, firstly, integrity for sure.
integrity.
Integrity I define by you always do the right thing.
All right.
Yeah, that's the simplest definition of integrity I know. You should
Okay.
have you should be a person of ethics.
Secondly,
Ethics for me is knowing the difference between what your rights are and what the right thing to do.
okay.
Okay, so
Next,
two, value an ethical person, and you are a, how would you say,
another
maybe
value. The second
maybe an
value.
empathetic person, if you want to say.
Okay. Okay.
You treat people as people with dignity, as you said earlier. So those are my would be my top three.
What are the three again? It's integrity, empathy,
Integrity,
empathy.
integrity. You do the right thing all the time.
Okay. Next one.
Okay, that's tied to ethics. Ethics is knowing the difference between your rights and what's the right
Ethics.
thing to do.
Ethics.
Okay, because like a manager, I have many rights. I do.
Okay.
Okay, all right. But when I'm doing the right thing, and
So
I
your
don't
second
know.
is ethics,
Yes, you have
and
to
the
be an
third one
ethical
is
person.
empathy. The
And the
third
third one is empathetic person. When I say empathetic person, or let's put it more action oriented. I'm a compassionate person because empathy is just me telling you, "Oh, I see you're sad," but compassion is me doing something about it.
good, good.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. So we'll start with that. And I agree with you. So okay, that's why I ask you, right? Uh, I have here in front of me the list of values I'd like to share.
Yep.
The first one is empathy. See, so we really started because leadership is about taking good care of your people. So what's the first thing you should do? Listen to them. So for me, empathy, the first element of empathy is to listen. I even go, I advise my managers that, hey, at least you must devote at least once, even just once a year, a one-on-one with each and every team member and doing nothing but listening. Listen to their concerns, their dreams, their aspirations. Listen. That's empathy. And the second step in empathy is understand. And that's why you say compassion or understand. Okay, you have listened. Okay, don't judge, don't argue, understand, and as they say, put yourself in their shoes. Right? That's the third one. Then fourth one is try your best to address their concerns and aspirations. It's the point of being empathetic if you don't address their concerns and aspirations. Okay, so everything is about that empathy that understands and responds. The second one is patience and calmness. For me, leaders must never be impatient in dealing with their people. So, it goes from if you are ready to listen, do not be impatient. Be patient and be calm. Okay, do not Do not put blame, or do not blame or curse your employees in public. Do not, you know, put them at shame in public. You must be patient. Even if they are doing something bad already, you must, because you're the leader, you must be the balancing, stabilizing factor. Hey, so that's the second value or virtue for me, that a leader must have. Because patience entails humility, that you are humble enough, even if you're the top boss, the CEO, the leader, but you still have time to listen to your people and be patient with their concerns and their problems. The moment you become impatient with them, watch out, because you'll start misunderstanding them and you'll start hating them. And when that happens, you can't be an effective leader anymore. And maybe they'll soon also feel that and they'll leave you also. They won't be your follower anymore. Okay. The third one, you've said it, integrity. Integrity. For me, integrity has three parts. The first part is honesty. Honesty is saying what you know. They say tell the truth, but sometimes what we know is not the truth, but it's what we know. We may be mistaken, but if we say what we know, then we are telling that what we know. Then that's honesty. But it may not be the truth. For instance, I thought I saw Tony pass by, but it was not actually Tony. It was somebody who resembles Tony. But when they asked me, did you see Tony pass by? And I say, yes, I saw him pass by. Am I lying? No. I'm telling what I know. I'm being honest. That's when there's alignment between what I say and what I know, that's honesty. And the third element in integrity for me is practicing what you preach, or fulfilling your promises. When you say something, you fulfill it, you do it, or what they say in the corporate world, you have to walk the talk. Okay. If you talk about hard work, we should be hardworking. Everybody must work. You better work hard also. You should practice what you preach. As they say, you cannot ask people to do something that you yourself are not willing to do. Okay, so that's also leading by example. Okay, so when you lead by example, you have integrity, or you lead with integrity. And I say also is you lead by example, you lead by values, by your values. By the way, at this point, I'd like to just give a quick what's this overview of what I teach as the 5 elements or 5 key functions of leaders. First one is leaders must lead by example. That's why we are talking about values. This is where the values is connected. When you lead by example, you should lead by your values. And you better make sure your values are aligned with principles, because you are the leader and followers will follow you. All right. So the second element or second function for me of a leader is to express the dreams and aspirations of the team, and constantly remind of the team of, of the goals and aspirations. Because along the way, they may forget or be distracted. It's the leader which will remind the team that, hey guys, come on. What are we here for? What are our goals? It's our mission. Come on, let's unite again and get back to delivering the mission or achieving the mission. That's the second key function of a leader. The third key function of a leader is to rally the troops, to inspire, motivate, develop the team, inspire them, teach them, train them, motivate them, encourage them, So using your values again, using your charisma, using your example, your motivating techniques, all of that. But that's the third one. And the fourth one is to nurture the unity and the trust among the team. Okay? Because in real life, there will be bickerings and distractions and troubles and problems. And it's the leader's function for me to, hey, come on, let's not get distracted. Let's unite. Let's work as a team. This is where teamwork comes in. So the leader is the one which nurtures the teamwork so that the team will focus again on the goals and the mission of the team. And of course, last but not the least, is to achieve the goals and aspirations of the team. You lead it, you lead the achievement, and you use all the other factors. You lead the achievement of the goals of the team by motivating them, by taking care of the unity, by leading by example, and by constantly reminding and expressing the goals and aspirations of the team. So these are the 5 functions. So I will later on connect them with the values. Okay, so that's why I wanted to go through them first. So leading with integrity is part of the leading by example. Then the fourth one, the fourth value I'd like to share is fairness and abundance mentality. Leaders must be fair. There should never be favoritism among the team. Okay, what is good for one should be good for all. What is bad for one, it should be bad for all. You know, there should be fairness. You should think win-win. And you can only do that if you have abundance mentality. There is something for everyone. And we don't have to have crab mentality. We don't have to pull each other down just to get on top.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's being a leader, you must be fair. Because if you, the moment you become partial, the team will know. And they won't trust you anymore. They say, oh, KKB, sila, kami. You know, there's no, and there's favorite. Oh, and there will be double standards. And that's not good for the team. You see, and if the team is demotivated, discouraged, then it won't work well. There will be no teamwork. And if you don't have teamwork, it's gonna be very hard to deliver the results. You see? So it affects management. Okay. So fifth one is accountability. Accountability not only for the self, for the leader, but accountability for the team and for team results. Because you're the head, you're the leader. The mistakes of your people are your mistakes. The achievements of your people are your achievements, achievements of the team. You can start using it as an excuse. I did not meet this goal because my team members were lazy. They were, you know, but you're the leader. We talk about chain command responsibility, right? And if you're the head, you must be accountable. That's a value of a good and great leader. You don't give excuses. You don't blame others. You take the responsibility, okay, and you do something about it. Okay? You do something about it. Sixth one is synergy. Synergy, this is much more than teamwork. It's when 1 + 1 = 3, right? When you have synergy. When you use not only processes, but also technology and all resources available to you to achieve and deliver results. You must do that mix of synergy. And of course, it starts from teamwork. But teamwork with great motivation and with happy and motivated employees gives you synergy. When the results are 3 times, 10 times more, because people will really give their best in delivering results and not just, you know, that is enough, mediocre. Because you can just reach the goal. If the goal is 5 million sales, and when they reach 5 million, they rest, you know, because it's just, you know, okay, just There's no synergy or there's no great motivation. But motivated team members, they don't only reach and attain the goal or the target, but they exceed them happily and willingly. That's the difference there. They do it even on their own. You see, when you have a greatly motivated team, that's why you need great leadership. This is what great leadership creates. It creates a greatly motivated team, okay, which has synergy. So they're all interconnected. And the seventh is generosity that inspires and uplifts.
I'm sorry, what was it? Generosity that
Generosity
inspires?
that inspires and uplifts. The leader must be generous. He can't be selfish. He can't be greedy. So fake or bad leaders, these are the ones who are greedy and selfish, self-centered, and the people will know. Okay, so if you are a leader, it's part of being a leader. You have to help your team members. That's why you start with empathy and patience. Then you address their concerns and aspirations. And you have to be generous, not just with money. Or sometimes, because people say, you have to be generous with your money, with your team members. And I say, yes, if that's the need. If that's the need. But generosity is not only financial. You have to be generous with your time in mentoring them, in coaching them and mentoring them. Time is valuable. They say time is gold, right? Many leaders, they don't have time for their people. They're too engrossed with big things or whatever, big picture things, and they forget to give time to their people. I'm reminded about parents. This is one thing they say about being a parent. The best gift they say you can give to your children is your time and presence. Same with leaders. The best gift you can give your people, time and presence. And when you have time for them, you have time to mentor them, to coach them, and you have time to listen to their needs and aspirations. See, that's being generous with your time. And you should not just be generous with your time, you should be generous with your knowledge and skills. You must share what you know. You must teach them. You must train them. You must make them the new leaders. Right? You have to coach and mentor them to become the new leaders, to become better than you, because you're giving your all. You have to, and people will appreciate that, and they will know if you really taught them very well. See, because you are generous. So if you don't have much, financial help to give, you can give at least much more time and much more sharing of knowledge. Okay, so it's still generosity, and that generosity inspires people. It's what they will remember. It's what your people will remember after 10 years, after this leader of mine, this mentor of mine, you know he taught me a lot, and that's what I remember. He's been very generous with his time and his knowledge. See, that's, some people call that legacy. It's a legacy you pass on to your people. And the eighth one is a genuine love for people. Genuine love for people and their welfare and growth. So if you're a leader and you don't really like talking to or mentoring people, you'll have a hard time being a leader. A real genuine leader loves people, loves mentoring people, loves helping people. There's a genuine love to develop people. you know uh, it should be a much more love, rather than just love for technology, love for machines, love for processes, love for market share. And if you're a real leader, this love for machines, technology, that's for managers. That's for managers, being a good manager. But if you're a leader, you're a mentor, you're a coach, you're a people developer. You develop people and you help them. Why? Not because you want them to be more productive, but because you love them. You want to see them succeed. It's a genuine love to see people succeed. You know, I like you to succeed. I'll help you. Okay? That's the real value of a leader. You know? And it's not just as a team. No, one by one. That's why I go back. Empathy, you listen to each and every team member, each and every follower, one by one. It takes time. But yes, that's the best gift you can give them. Give time. You know, I've been a follower myself also, you know, but I forgot, or I don't like those leaders that didn't even have time to talk with me. You know, even they didn't even know that they had such a great asset in their company. And so what I do? I left them. You know, I went to a greater company. You know? So good people, you know, you cannot put good people down, because if you don't treat them well, they will leave you. And who stays? The bad people will stay because they're mediocre and they don't expect much. You know? So anyway, love for people. And then the ninth, last but not the least, there are more. But of course, we have a time limit. Paul, we have time limits. So
Yeah.
I'll start with the ninth will be courage and initiative to pursue truth and excellence. So there are many words there, but this is about excellence. Leaders must uplift people. When you uplift, you talk about improvement and excellence. You want people to improve and succeed. You talk about success. Okay? So it's excellence and truth. Okay? So because leadership is not just about money and about company. No, leadership can be a community leader. You're a community leader, and then, or you are a political leader. So you should be after not just excellence, but the truth. What is true? What is good and true? Okay, that's a true leader. Because as I said, there are bad leaders. They deceive people. They peddle fake news just to uplift themselves. So they uplift themselves, not the people. You see, so these are bad and fake leaders. Okay, so when we want to be good, genuine, and effective leaders, we must have the initiative. That's another word, the initiative. We initiate things. When we see a problem, we initiate solutions. We don't run away from problems. You know, we don't hide from problems. We don't pretend there are no problems because it's hard to solve them. No, we have the courage. That's why I put in courage, initiative and courage to face the problems, the adversities, and lead as the leader. You should be the first one to initiate. Okay? As they say, managers take care of the difficult problems and leaders take care of the impossible problems. Okay? So when the problems are impossible, call the leader. And the leader must lead by example. So we go back to integrity. Because if you have integrity, integrity also is you do and you are the leader all the time, right? Because that's part of being in one integer, united. You are not just leader during the day and what? A corrupt man at night?
Or the other way around.
Okay, so it's really 24 by 7, you know, because of integrity. Integrity says you have a moral compass all the time. You have principles all the time. You don't say, I live and abide by these principles only from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. After that, please, I have a different set of principles. Or no, it doesn't happen that way. And actually, you cannot do it that way, even if you wanted to. Why? Because values become actions, and actions become habits, and habits become your character. And it's not hard. As you say, it's very difficult to break habits, right? It's even more difficult to change your character. You cannot change your character in one day, in one week. No, because you've been building your character for years and years and years, and it's there. It's even harder to break than habits. Okay, so for me, leadership becomes your character. Are you a real leader by character, or are you a fake leader? Or your character is that of a fake leader? Can be that way also. Okay. So anyway, those are the nine, and may I share my slides now, Paul?
Sure, please do. Please,
Recap,
please.
and maybe for the benefit of our viewers and listeners. So
Okay.
it's like
Do you
it's
have? Can you see the share slide on your screen? If you go to the
yes,
bottom of the screen,
yes,
you should see a share screen, a green.
yes.
There we are. Perfect. Okay.
There you go.
Yep.
So I'd like to share values that leaders must have. Let's see if it will move. Okay, there, go. First one, as I said, empathy that understands and then that responds. Patience and calmness as a habit should become part of your habit, then it becomes part of your character. Integrity that creates trust, because trust is very important in taking care of people. Your people will only trust you if you have integrity. And if there is no trust, there can be no teamwork. And if there's no teamwork, there can be no productivity in the company. Fairness and abundance mentality is the fourth one. Then accountability, not only for the self, but also for the team. You are responsible for your acts and deeds, and you are answerable. You are accountable. Synergy for better results. Okay? Because if you have teamwork and synergy, I'm sure you will get better or bigger results. Generosity that inspires and uplifts. You see, if you are generous, your people will be inspired and they'll remember you for your generosity. Love for people and their welfare and growth. And lastly, initiative and courage to pursue truth and excellence. So those are the 9 values that I'd like to share this afternoon. Here is a leadership code, which I made last time that I presented, because I do have leadership courses and seminars. So leadership is first a choice, then becomes a commitment to be accountable to your team and to deliver your team's goals and desired results. It's also about character and integrity. There you go. Be honest and do what you promise. This earns the trust of your team. And there are true leaders and there are fake leaders. True leaders listen to and address the needs and aspirations of their people. They have a genuine love for people to help them grow and succeed. Their generosity uplifts and inspires others. They are calm, patient, kind, honest, and accountable. Fake leaders, on the other hand, are self-centered. They have no time for others, no time for their people. They are impatient, bossy, and do not practice what they preach. They have a win-lose mentality and don't mind lying or cheating to get what they want. These are bad and fake leaders. So if you don't have the values, you got the vices, the bad habits. Okay, I've talked about the 5 key elements of leadership. That's learn to lead. You lead by example, you express the goals and aspirations, you achieve the mission, you rally the troops, and you nurture unity and teamwork and trust. I also include the 7 habits of highly effective people, because part of this is being proactive and also thinking win-win, which are part of the values of great leaders. And in my leadership courses, I also share my final advice, avoiding the 10 usual mistakes, remembering the 4 sisters, motivating, how to motivate and inspire your people, and how to apply the 6 success tips. Again, in my other presentation with the Leader's Edge, I said about extraordinary leaders. So there are effective leaders and there are extraordinary leaders. Extraordinary leaders lead until it hurts, go the extra mile with a smile, and selflessly lead others to extraordinary heights. Thank you. I hope this will be useful to our viewers, Paul.
I found them not only useful, but also very, very inspiring. I'll just ask one last question, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Uh, why is it that there appears to be a lack of leadership? I mean, what you're talking about sounds really nice. Okay, sounds like everybody would want to do it, but at the same time, we see a severe. I don't want to say severe, but we see a definite lack of leadership. Okay, so how did that happen?
Lack of genuine leadership.
Yes, of course. Well, in my books, it's either you're a leader or you're not.
Yeah.
Period. Okay, there's nothing in
No, but
between.
because Paul, there are people who will say, "I am a leader."
Well,
I'm
no,
a
that's what
leader.
they
And
say.
I'm achiever even. I'm an
No,
achiever.
that's
But
what they say. That's what they say. But if I look at your values
they
and what we
lack
talked
some
about,
of the
it's either you
values.
are or you're not. Okay, so it's either on or off. Uh, but okay,
Okay, okay.
but still,
So,
the
but
question
the
is
question
the
is,
question is hanging over my head. I said, why is it that we don't see better leadership? Okay, well, what's the struggle?
um, well, the first, I agree with you. First one. And the answer is not that easy, I guess. We will be speculating at this point, but we can speculate. And when we're wrong, we may be right. You see, we may be right also. So I guess there's a lack of leadership or true leadership because one, there's also a lack of true leaders, idols, or examples. Number two, the world is changing and the success factors or what people consider as success are changing also. Men, for instance, is due to multimedia, social media, and all that. People are bragging about their wealth. The people are bragging about their travels abroad. People brag about being in high positions, having power and fame, and so the I guess the mindset of people nowadays are changing also. They get envious. It's envy. They are envious. That why and so they say if Mr. So and so is successful, why can I not be like him or like her? You know, and it just happened that Mr. So and so is successful, and what he is he means is he is rich and wealthy. He's rich, and because he's rich and wealthy, he can travel abroad. But he doesn't mention that Mr. So and so is kind of corrupt, and is involved in smuggling or maybe involved in,
Worse. Just leave it at worse.
worse,
Okay.
but he is only focusing on the wealth and the traveling abroad, and they forget that, so sometimes
So,
it's very hard to
would it
come.
be fair to say that maybe the lack of leadership or the loss of leadership as a result is a result of misguided or misplaced values and principles?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, yes. And that's why also we keep on offering our leadership courses so that we can reach out to more and more managers and leaders and tell
Right.
them, hey, your managers and leaders, you should be having these values. These are the things you should be doing. You have to keep on reminding them, because they tend to forget.
Absolutely right.
Because the path that many usually go to is the easier path, right?
Uh
Natural tendency.
you can for me
People
you could
go to
call
the
it the
easier
easier
path.
path. Uh because realistically speaking, if you look at your principles and values, those are not hard. They're not. There might be an emotional struggle, if you want to say, but usually, no. Usually, when you're confronted with a situation like you have to bring bad news to your parents, as an example, as a kid, right? You're so afraid of their response that you don't tell them. But once you tell them, a big weight is lifted off of you and you feel so much freer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the slides you presented and the principles you presented are excellent. And for me, it does take a little bit of a struggle to get to them, but once you get to it, it's okay. You can relax. You can because you're more confident about the outcome, if you want to say.
Well,
But
we
you know,
you can
uh,
do them one by one. You don't have. I shared 9 values. You can start with 1, 2, and 3.
absolutely yes.
You
Don't try
don't
to do
have to
all of them at
have
one
them
time.
all the time.
You'll give
Just
up.
start.
You'll give up if you try to do them all at once. Okay, Five, this has been a fabulous 40, 45, 45, 50 minutes. I had a great time talking with you and reminding us and myself about truly what leadership is about.
Yep.
Before I go, is there anything before we close, is there anything that maybe you'd like to share, maybe an upcoming event that you could invite us to?
Oh, right now, my seminars are for in-house company seminars.
Okay.
So they're not for the general public. So they're
If
exclusive.
we were if we were to reach you, where can we find you?
Oh, it's easy. It's mrfave@gmail.com. So that's
Ah,
MISTERFAVE, Mr. Fave
all
at
right.
gmail.com. So it's easy to remember.
Yes, very easy. And as usual, everybody, our next episode is actually with his name is Mr. Francis Romualdez. He is a world class inventor. And our subject will be how to support world class inventors or Philippine inventors. That's a topic that we definitely need because there are a lot of technologies that were invented by Pinoys, but never really were fully supported. So please, if you like and enjoyed what you saw, please click the links below, like and support and subscribe. I'm sorry. And as always, as we say in Speakers Bureau, Speaker's Edge, learning is a never ending journey with limitless vistas.